All right. I think we are live. My connection is amazing. My connection is, just a little off today, it seems like. So hopefully we're good. I'm actually going to test really quick to see if it's going. Okay, awesome. What is up, everyone? It is Coach Jen here. You've probably seen me around. We've probably chatted before. It is Coach Jen. I'm coming with you or coming at you today. Well, I'm going to say I'm coming with you today on this journey of our fitness journey. Okay. Today we are going to be talking about the higher the levels, the bigger the devils. Ooh, that's something that I love to remember, simply because it's really funny when we're talking to our clients on the team. And if you don't know already, hello, this is the Fit and Fulfilled team. I am the CEO and head coach of the team and the owner. And I'm consistently, available to all of our clients on the team to have chats, to have conversation, to help guide them on their health and fitness journey as they work one-on-one with their coaches, who are going to be Coach Emily and Coach Laura, who you also see doing lives in this group as well too. But that being said, I think it's really funny. Like, obviously, when we're on our fitness journey, we hit obstacles along the way. And when we hit obstacles, we often think like, this is BS, why am I having this problem, etc. Like, I shouldn't be having obstacles on my fitness journey. Now you're going to watch my cat come over here because I'm talking. And so he thinks there's people around and he loves people. So he might come onto the screen here. So I'm going to let him lay down politely and quietly beside me. But that being said, obstacles on your fitness journey are not something that you should want to never have. Okay. It would be nice if we never had an obstacle on our fitness journey. That is 100% true. Oh no, I didn't record this and I want to record this. Record on this computer. But it'd be great if we never had an obstacle on our fitness journey. But also, that being said, we would never learn on our fitness journey. And so it's really important, and you're going to find so many different ways and so many different parallels that this is going to work for you. Just imagine your kids growing up, right? When they're 1 year old, they're learning how to walk. When they're 3 years old, I've never had a kid, but I've had siblings who are 15 years younger than me. I think we were all potty trained by the time we were like 3, sometimes even 2, but they learn, right, to use the toilet, and there's mistakes that they make along the way. And when they're 5, they're learning how to tie their shoes. Maybe like 5, 6, or 7, they're maybe getting into baseball for the first time, and they're learning to bat, right? And along the way, with all of these different things that they're learning in their life as they're growing up, they do hit an obstacle, right? They're not perfect at it. They're going to make mistakes. And as we grow into teenage years, we start dating, and that brings in a whole different set and type of relationship issues that can come up, and we're going to face obstacles in our dating life, and in marriage, that's a whole different stage as well too, right? So that's a different stage of like dating and relationships. That's going to bring more obstacles. And then we start having family, we bring obstacles, right? But during this entire process, we are leveling up in this game of life. And I think that's really important for us to understand, and for us to not shy away when it comes to obstacles. Obstacles are not a reason for us to quit on our fitness journey. Obstacles are telling us that we are moving into that next level. Just like your kids have video games, during the first level of their video game, they get in there, and then maybe like they just have to learn how to jump. And so in that, they have an obstacle or where they have to jump, and they get over it, and then they finally get to the end of the video game. Maybe in another level, they learn how to defeat a wizard or an ogre, right? And once they learn how to defeat the ogre, now they know how to jump, and they know how to defeat the ogre. And then they go into level 3. And then I'm making up stuff because I don't watch or play video games, never have. But maybe in level 3, they learn how to, solve a puzzle within the game. So now they have learned how to jump, and they learned how to defeat the ogre, and then now they know how to solve a puzzle. And they're taking all of these things that they have learned from all of these different obstacles of the level before in order to get to the next level. And that is how your fitness journey is going to be. And then I want to kind of give you some examples of this, that like You may be at that place where like, hey, you don't even know where to start. And that's common. That's okay. That's common. By the way, if you guys are watching this live, please put down hashtag live squad. And if you're watching the replay, put down hashtag replay squad. And let me know if any of this is resonating with you. You may be at that point on your journey where you maybe have only lost 5 pounds, but you've plateaued, or maybe 10 pounds, but you've plateaued. And your goal is to lose maybe 40, 50, or 60 pounds. Okay. You may be at that place in your journey where you've lost the weight, but you've gained it back. You may be at that place in your journey where you haven't lost any weight, if your goal is weight loss, obviously, and you're having trouble even right there, just getting started. You may be at that place in your journey where you've lost the weight, but now you want to do something different, such as build muscle, and that's a completely different strategy, and you're not having as much success with that. Maybe you're at that place on your fitness journey, and you've been counting your calories, etc., but now you don't know how to intuitively eat anymore, and you don't really trust yourself or trust your body to maintain the weight loss that you have been able to achieve. So that being said, all of these places that you may be in, I just want you to know and recognize that you are moving up into a higher level, and the higher the levels, the bigger the devils. Does that make sense for you? Hi, Bridget. Thank you for commenting. I love that you're here. Bridget's awesome. Bridget is one of our clients, and she's always, I love Bridget because she is a lighthouse to our team. She actually just had her own, I'm going to talk about you for a minute, Bridget. She actually just had her own leveling up, whereby she recently started journaling. And something that's really awesome about Bridget is she's always very helpful for others. And she actually put it in our team group chat. She said, I have journals for everyone. I've used my journal. So if any of you want a journal, please reach out and I'll send you a journal. So she's sending out journals to all the ladies in our team, or whoever reached out, even across the US. So thank you, Bridget. I appreciate that. But that being said, so I kind of want to give you some examples here of like where you may be on your fitness journey. And I also want us to keep in mind that your game that you're playing is probably going to be different than the game that your friends are playing, or maybe that your family's playing, etc. We're all at different points in our journey. We all have different experiences in life, and we all have different lifestyles, etc. And so that game that you're playing is going to be different than the game that your friend is playing. And there's no reason to compare your journey to somebody else's, okay? So for example, different stages on your fitness journey may mean different obstacles, and I have some notes over here for you. So maybe you're at the beginning stage of your fitness journey, and it may just be a goal for you just to move more. Maybe you have a pretty sedentary job, and maybe low energy, etc. And so your first stage of your journey, or your first level, maybe to be moving more. One way that you can progress from that is actually maybe start working out. So maybe you started by walking, but one way to progress from that is actually one level up, is maybe start working out. You may start with at-home workouts. You may start by simply doing more crunches, maybe doing more body weight workouts, and maybe doing push-ups, etc. And then maybe eventually you'll start going to the gym after that point. Another example is maybe you're at that point where you've lost your first 5 pounds, and that is always like very, very motivating when you lose that first 5 pounds. And it may have just been a simple change of drinking more water, and that may have been all that you needed in order to lose your first 5 pounds. But for you to lose that next 10 pounds, maybe that's going to be that you may need to track your food in order to lose that next 10 pounds and get to that 10-pound mark, right? And then let's say you have a goal of getting to 20 pounds. Maybe that point is like, okay, you're drinking more water, you're tracking your food, but maybe to get to that next 10 pounds, because the closer and the further and the more progress you make towards your goals, the harder it's going to be. Just like in your video games, the more that they get toward finishing the video game, the more that they have to overcome, the more skills they have to learn. So maybe getting to that 20-pound mark, and you've lost 20 pounds at this point, you mean like maybe you're drinking less, consuming less calories from sugary beverages, from alcoholic beverages, from just drinking calories in general, because calorie dense liquids aren't as satiable for you, and so it makes you hungrier faster. You do get hungrier faster. At this point in the journey, it may mean like you're eating out less. Maybe you were able to get by with eating out, maybe 3-4 times a week, but maybe you're making some more home cooked meals at this point, or maybe packing your food whenever you go to the cafeteria. That way you have a little bit more control over the food that you're eating. And let's say you've lost that 20 pounds. Now we're looking at 30, 40 pounds. This may mean like you're being more consistent and more diligent on your journey. So maybe you've been able to kind of get by, you've been a little bit more relaxed, losing that first 5, 10, 20 pounds is a lot easier. Now we're pushing toward that next larger goal. And so this may mean like you may also be steeping it into a larger calorie deficit, because there's two things that can happen on your fitness journey, especially with weight loss. And it's funny, people can go either way. One, you can lose weight and your metabolism go down with that, or two, you can possibly lose weight and metabolism actually increase. So maybe for one of you, if you're one of those people who's like losing weight and your metabolism is decreasing with it, maybe you need a steeper and larger calorie deficit. That means you have to be more aware of the food that you're eating and intaking in order to, stay in that larger calorie deficit. Now, I'm going to kind of end there with those examples in terms of like weight loss and moving to that next level of weight loss. Something that's really important is we've all probably experienced weight loss, right? We've all probably like lost 10, 15, 20 pounds. I know I've lost, I think like 20, 25 pounds at one point, and then gained it back. I ended up gaining like 30 pounds back. I gained back and rebounded more weight than I lost, unfortunately. And so one of the biggest struggles for me, like one of my devils that I had to overcome, is that I had to learn how to maintain my weight loss. And I know as women, we often get to that place of like, we lose the weight and then we gain it back, lose weight, gain it back, and then we get into this vicious cycle, right? And so to maintain the weight loss is actually another devil. And I've not been that person who's had to lose like, 50, 60, 100 pounds, but I hear from our clients and from others that, when you lose that large amount of weight, keeping it off is the hard part. That's what they always say. It's like keeping it off is the hard part. And there's reasons for this due to metabolic adaptation and whatnot. So your devil may be having to maintain is like the hard part. You can lose it, but maintaining is the hard part. And so what does this mean? Some things that you may have to do is maybe overcome the emotional eating or maybe the stress eating. That's just a habit that a lot of us may have. I used to have that habit. It was really hard for me to overcome that. I struggled with that for many years. Another thing that may be helpful for you in terms of maintaining your weight is getting your family more active or changing the family's food menu. I know a lot of women say like, I feel like I can diet, but it always feels like I have to make a second menu for myself. My family doesn't like to eat what I eat. Whenever I diet, it makes it hard for me to stay consistent. But there's things with that as well too. Like we can learn to change our family's menu. It's a little bit harder because you're kind of like introducing something to other people. But again, going back to like Bridget's a lighthouse for our clients. She's awesome. You can also be a lighthouse for your family. I know it's like, again, that's other people, but I often say like, you do you shine brightly and other people will notice and they'll be like, what is she doing? And then, they'll follow along. It's not tugging or pulling like a tugboat, but it's a lighthouse. So that being said, maybe getting your family more active or changing the family's food menu. Maintaining weight could also mean saying no more often. I know we have a lot of high achievers in this group, a lot of high achievers as clients, a lot of women who overwork, a lot of people pleasers. It's very common for us as women to be people pleasers, right? And so that may mean actually saying no more often, maybe not staying for that extra shift, maybe not staying to help because that's just more stress on you. It takes away from your time to be back with your family, or maybe time for you to do your workout or time to take care of yourself. Another thing in terms of maintaining the weight loss is going back to the higher the levels, the bigger the devils. Make that next goal. And it doesn't have to be a weight loss goal. I know we have a lady on our team who's like, yeah, like I love the idea of like being able to lose weight, but I also want to feel stronger. And so she actually is entering into a powerlifting competition. And she's one of our older clients. She's over the age of 40. She's, I think, over the age of 45 as well too, but like this will be her first time powerlifting and like lifting heavy because she's actually enjoyed that. And so that's her next goal after the weight loss, because if we stop at just the weight loss, we're most likely going to backslide, right? So maintaining means setting that next goal. If you have never set that next goal before outside of weight loss, that could be your obstacle or your goal to go for and overcome and achieve, right? And then last but not least, this is a big one. And this is something that I really, 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 really love and want for all of our clients. Give me like a hand up or whatever. Let me know you're still here. If you're listening in. This is a big one. This is something that I want for everyone. So I know there's a lot of, fitness coaches on the internet, and I know that there's a lot of people who are big, and we do this on our team. We track our macros. We track our macros for reasons, because I want my clients to be educated, because when they're educated, they understand what's in their food and they can better make decisions. We help them with all of this as well too, assisting them, like if they need help figuring out like what to eat at the end of their day or how to hit their targets or yada, yada, so on and so forth. We're there to help them, like 100% hold your hand. We got you. Just let us know anytime. We'll help you. And we use macros. But for me and my team, macros is only supposed to be a tool when you have a goal. Just like if your child runs track, they only wear the spiked shoes on the track. They don't wear the spiked shoes when they're at home in your house. They don't wear the spiked shoes when they go to the store. They don't wear the spiked track shoes whenever they're playing basketball. They wear them on the track, because that is the purpose of the spiked track shoe, is to grab onto the track and give it more to push off of, right? So that being said, same thing with macro tracking. I don't want you to track your macros for the rest of your life. I don't want you to be stuck tracking your macros or your calories for the rest of your life. I want you to learn your macros. I want you to understand your food. I want you to take that knowledge, and I want you to enter the rest of your life with your experience of losing weight and keeping that off, and let those macros go. And so for some of us, maintaining the weight loss may actually mean letting go of macro tracking. And I remember one day I was standing in my kitchen. I was, deep in my fitness journey. I wasn't in a bad place. I wasn't overweight. I reached my goal. I was just at the point of, I was so obsessed with tracking my macros and tracking my calories that I was on my phone every time that I was trying to eat. And I said, F this. Why am I doing this? And I'm just recalling this memory now. And same thing for you, right? You may need to do that. And that may be the devil that you need to overcome, whereby you're not tied to your phone and you're not tied to a calorie tracker or a macro tracker, whatever it is. But in order to do that, you need to learn how to let go. And we're not just going to let it go all at once. We need to kind of wean off of it, right? So that being said, that may be something that you need to maintain your weight loss. And the reason that I say this is because I've seen it so many times. Now we're going to go into another topic here, which is going to be your personality type. Okay. I'm going to have to adjust here so I can get serious with you. But your personality type. Some of us are that personality type where we're very type A, things have to be perfect, we're perfectionists, we're overachievers, blah, blah, blah. Some of us are more type B, where we're very go with the flow, yada, yada, so on and so forth. What I've seen a lot of times is that those who are more type A, perfectionist-like, they have a harder time letting go of the calorie counting and the tracking and the restricting of food. And because of this, they actually end up binging late at night or overeating on the weekend and binging on the weekend, and they yada, yada, so on and so forth, especially once they've achieved their goal, once they're deeper in that calorie deficit. And this is going to lead to that weight rebound. Okay. And so that's like something that I personally experienced, being that type of person myself. And that's someone that we typically work with a lot on our team, those high achievers, those women who are like stuck on like, I'm working out, I'm doing everything. I, can't get these last couple pounds off. And then they're stuck in a cycle, a vicious cycle of like frustration of, going too hard and so on and so forth. And it's that leniency that they need in order to fully relax and let their body and empower their body to do its thing. So that's kind of what I want to say about that. And it goes back into that personality type. Now we also have those women who are a little bit more flowy, a little bit more type B, not as many things bother them, but they're maybe not as consistent because they're a little bit more flowy, a little bit more lenient. I don't always track, I forget to track type of thing. They're not big into the numbers type of thing. And so that brings me into another thought here, which is your personality type and understanding your personality type. Now, I made a whole guide going over your personality type. We use this a lot with our clients on the team. It really helps us understand kind of where they are, who they are, and how they act and behave, and what really motivates them and drives them to act and behave this way. So this guide that I made is called the Personality Driven Performance Guide, which actually started my personality driven performance podcast. Now I haven't been on there in a hot second on the podcast, but this guide goes through and teaches you to understand like your personality type, what makes you make the decisions and the actions that you take, and and how that can affect your fitness journey. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and like drop this link down below in the comments so you have this guide. And then along with that too, I'm going to go ahead and drop our one-on-one coaching application as well too. And I just want to go into one more thing here because I have this whole list and I forgot about this one piece on the list. Sometimes, you know, how we talked about, you know, losing that first 5 pounds, losing that next 10 pounds, you know, 20 pounds, 40 pounds, we're continuously progressing. Sometimes this as well too means like, I talked a lot about calories, but sometimes this also means like, I know a lot of the ladies before coming onto our team, you know, they're using Beachbody, they're using the Fit On app, they're using, you know, XYZ, you know, something maybe like a low cost program or a free group or whatever it is, and they're just not making more progress. And so that means maybe taking the next step up is actually getting into a structured training program or a structured program that gives you accountability or a structured program that gives you support. And it may be like, okay, like, you know, why would I want to spend more on my fitness journey when I can do this thing for like $15? Well, again, the higher the levels, the bigger the devils. Investing in yourself is also one of those things that you may need to overcome in order to reach that next level. And believe me, I've done it too. Like I was a person who had my bachelor's in nutrition and I still couldn't figure out my fitness journey. It's wild because just being knowledgeable on nutrition wasn't enough. It was actually, I needed to be knowledgeable in fat loss and muscle building and weight loss specific and not just like general nutrition. And so same thing, I ended up hiring a coach even after having my 4-year education. I ended up taking on more mentorship so I could learn how to coach clients properly in order to be able to serve people and clients and things like that. So more structure, more accountability, more support may mean that's what that next step is going to be for you to overcome those devils that you have. So that being said, I'll drop my coaching link as down below as well too, if it's something that you're interested in. If you're maybe, because like me, or like many of the clients that come onto the team, whereby you're frustrated, you're like, man, why am I not making more progress on my fitness journey? Yada, yada, so on and so forth. But I do want to ask a question. Did any of this resonate with you? I know I have a couple people sitting here listening along. Did any of this resonate with you? Where do you feel like you are on your fitness journey? Are you at that 5-pound mark? Are you at that 10-pound mark? Are you at the point where you're like, I don't even know where to start? Are you at the point where like, hey, I've lost the weight, but I don't know how to keep it off? Like, let me know down below in the comments, kind of where you are. Awesome. I do want to say this like last thing, my big devil for me personally, where I have overcome is it's always like I'm really good whenever it comes into the cut and going into the cutting phase, and I can go into the muscle building phase. My big thing that I love right now on my fitness journey that's so great is actually the freedom of maintaining and eating what I want. So again, going back to like letting go of that macro tracking, that's something that I've often had a hard time. And not even just like letting go of the macro tracking, letting go of the macro tracking, and excuse my language, but not going like balls to the wall, not going crazy and just like going back to old ways of eating. Not that I eat super poorly, but like when you're not tracking your macros, it's very easy for you to just be like, okay, cool. I don't have to see what I eat anymore. So I'm going to eat like extra pizza, or, you know, I don't have to log that I ate like a whole pint of ice cream. So I'm just going to eat it, you know, since I don't have to log it, like, you know, out of sight, out of mind type of thing. And that's the best thing for me in terms of like, that's like the biggest devil that I overcome, because I'm a big girl that loves to eat like cookies, ice cream, etc. And I do that when I'm in my cut phase, as well as like whenever I'm maintaining, whenever I'm just living life, I will always have like a dessert or sweet every single day. But the big thing is like not going overboard on that. So just because my calories are up and just because I can have more, doesn't mean like I'm going to sit there and overeat. So right now, personally for me on my fitness journey, I just love the fact of how good I feel. And the fact that I'm like eating what I want, I'm not tracking my food, I'm working out in the gym like 3 to 4 times a week. And like, I'm still making progress. Compared to like a month or 2 months ago, I'm actually leaner now than I was back then. And I wasn't tracking my calories back then either, but it's just a whole mindset shift. So I'm very type A, very type very type, like overthinker, perfectionist, etc. And now that I'm more lax in my fitness journey, I actually see better progress sometimes. And this is also something that I would love for all the women on our team to get to as well too. Is like, I don't even know how much I weigh, if I'm being honest. Like, I think I weigh like 134 last time I checked, but it's like, we're no longer stepping on the scale every single day. We're no longer tracking our food every single day. And kind of like going back to what I said before, those track shoes that you have with the spikes in them, your children wear them when they're on the track so that they can perform their best, right? If you're on your fitness journey, macro tracking is good for you. Like, it's a tool. We use it for XYZ goal, just like your kids use those spiked shoes on the track for XYZ goal of running faster, right? But they don't use those track shoes all day long. And I'm never going to promote to you, you should be tracking your macros for the rest of your life. And again, going back to, like, I know other coaches out there who are consistently tracking their macros year after year, whatever phase they're in, no time off tracking. And I've seen it, and I'm not trying to say anything super negative, but they will come out, and I've overcome this as well too, where they're like, yeah, I couldn't stop tracking my macros. I felt like it had a hold on me, and they pushed macros so hard, like, you have to do this. And it's like, no, not really. You just have to use it for a certain time period, and then we should let it go. And that's something that I love to promote to you as well too, is that you should spend the majority of your life not thinking about food, not thinking about tugging at your clothes, not thinking about, having to get that extra workout in to burn more calories because you overate that day, not thinking about the next meal you're going to eat because you're so food focused, and then not feeling guilty from that food that you ate because you're so scale obsessed. So these are all, again, different devils that you're going to have to overcome and learn on your fitness journey, which is going to lead me back to one more thing that I'm going to say here, and then we're going to be done. Oh, Jen, don't lose it. Overcome on your fitness journey. One more thing. Come on, Jen, don't lose it. I think I lost it. Oh no, I think I lost it. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, but the higher the levels, the bigger the devils. We all have our own journey. Just like your kids play a video game, they have to overcome different obstacles. Don't shy away from obstacles when you're on your fitness journey. It's not a bad thing. It's just telling you that you're leveling up, and leveling up is good. Okay, leveling up is good. It's going to help you progress forward. If you need help with that, reach out, let us know. If you would like the personality driven performance guide, I'm going to drop it down in the link below or in the comments below. If you want help and you're like, hey, I would love to take on coaching, or would just love to see what it would be like to understand like what you do, and maybe it might help me, I'm going to drop our application below. And yeah, that's it. We should all get to that place in our life whereby we feel confident, we feel good in our body, we don't feel restricted or bound to, XYZ food plan, meal plan, calorie count, tracker on our food all the time, always thinking about food, all of that. We should be able to, and I want this for every woman, where we can just like get up, live our life, right? We're not worried about the scale. We're not worried about how clothes are fitting on us or how we look in clothes or tugging. We should be able to enjoy. That's the one great thing about us and our bodies, is like, this is our home. We should enjoy the home that we live in. And if we don't enjoy the home that we live in, it's really, really hard to enjoy other things in our life. And that's something that I want for you. So that's the Fit and Fulfilled team, increasing confidence in body and mind. And I want you to be fit and fulfilled. Let's design the life you love. So thank you for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. If you watch this live, put down hashtag live squad. If you watch the replay, put down hashtag replay squad. Drop your comments down below, and I will see you later. Have a good Friday.